Oh my Lord. Y'all don't know what we go through as content creators, man. This is the third time I'm trying this because I had some technical difficulties. I had some good rants going on too, but I'm gonna keep the spirit alive. I'm not gonna let it be a damper to the situation right now. Cause it's your boy Dolo Ren. This is Productive Conversations Podcast. I believe this is episode 681, something like that. Either way, you'll see it in the thumbnail. You'll see it on the YouTube and Spotify, Apple, all the platforms that we post to. You're gonna see this one. So, um, yeah, welcome back. Welcome back. Recovering UFC 324. It's been a little while since UFC's been around, and man, I had a spirited rant before when I was recording this before. But either way, we're gonna rewind it all back, and I'm gonna catch y'all up to speed with what's going on with this event. Looks like I'm still having some technical difficulties, but we'll get through that. Uh, yeah, man. This is Productive Conversations podcast. Go follow us on all social media platforms, all streaming platforms, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Yeah, I think I got them all. I think that's all of them. So yeah, go check us out. Go subscribe. Go follow us. Like, share, comment. Anything you agree with, anything you disagree with here, go ahead. No hard feelings. Uh, And yeah, it's your boy Dolo Ren, the most uncompromised, the most honest, and the realest combat sports analyst on YouTube and in the world today. No, I'm at least one of the top five, right? But either way, we're back for UFC 324. It's at T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas. Uh, Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes was canceled, and Rose Namajunas is fighting Natalia Silva. We're not gonna get too deep into that. We got Umar fighting Figueiredo. We're not going to get too deep into that either, but definitely going to give you a pick on that. But UFC 324, sorry, UFC 324, Paramount Plus's first event since they merged with UFC. The pay-per-view structure is gone. So, and like Conor McGregor was saying, they might have to redo his contract since the PPV points don't matter no more because there's no PPV, right? Uh, yeah, get my man's McGregor right, bro, because we want to see him back for the White House, whoever he fights, because it's not gonna be Chandler. We know that Dana White put a nail in that coffin, rightfully so, because we're done like fiddling around, right? We need to get the UFC in a proper state, in a proper place, and with Paramount Plus here, it's gonna be pretty good, pretty big. They got experience with Bellator, and yeah, this should be good for the fans. $90 a year, not bad. Better than $90 an event. So yeah, but being one of the most honest combat sports analysts today, I have to start off with a few things about the sport itself, aside from the news and aside from things you might be seeing on social media. Um, I gotta say, there's some fights I want to see, and I gotta put them out there. Topuria owes Arman a title shot. I don't give a damn what's going on, what kind of beef they got going on. I understand Topuria's battling in court for his family and his kids. Support to him, salute to him, and he needs all the time and strength he can use for that he can garner and gather for it. Uh, Arman Tsarukyan, I get it. He was off weight when he was supposed to fight Makhachev. At least the second time. I mean, when he was a champion, when Islam was a champion, and him headbutting Dan Hooker, not a good move. Not a good move to headbutt Dan Hooker at the press conference. But as far as the sport and as far as what he's accomplished, and when he competes, I don't think there's really a question. I think Arman deserves that title shot immediately, and the UFC would gain some respect by putting Arman in a title shot scenario. It's just facts. And, in the same way I feel about that, I feel Petr Yan owes Merab a title shot. Like, he deserves that rubber match, bro. Like, we need that trilogy. We really do need that trilogy. Because, Merab broke a record in the first fight against Petr Yan, and It was a very good fight. The second fight, very good fight. A lot better for Petr Yan because he came with a better game plan. Either way, no matter how dominant each one was in either fight, we deserved that third fight. We're talking about two of the best bantamweights that ever lived. Two of the best bantamweights that ever lived, you know? And I really do believe that, you know. Merab was one of the probably the best bantamweight champion. If you consider how quick he did these things, his title defenses and who he beat, legit guys. Legit guys. So we need to see that. We need to see that for the integrity of the sport, and it's only fair, right? And aside from those mandatory title shots that we need to see, there's two fights that I want to see as far as fanfare. And we need to see Sean O'Malley versus Cory Sandhagen. We need to see that for the fans. We need to know who the best white boy is at bantamweight. Because, you know, it would be fun for the fans to see these two styles go up against each other instead of always seeing a striker against a wrestler or a wrestler against a wrestler, you know, stinking up the place. We need something like this to really get people on their feet. People would absolutely come out and watch this fight, however you want to do it. But they got to fight. They have to fight. Win or lose, whatever Sean O'Malley does, and I'm going to mention these things later on too. You know, win or lose, Sean and Corey got to fight. They got to. And no matter who wins on this card, Yan should be fighting Merab, and Topuria should be fighting Arman, regardless of what happens. So, yeah, we got to see that. But also, Diego Lopez and Yair Rodriguez, they need to fight each other. You know, they got that beef going on, and people know about it. And they're two very exciting fighters, just like Corey and Sean O'Malley. So we need to see that too, bro. We need to see them. We need to see them beefs. You know, them fights happening from these like problems. You know, for the fans, straight fanfare. We need those two fights at least. But yeah, that's how I feel. You know, and the heavyweight division too, bro. Like Tom Aspinall, I understand. You know, taking your time because you got your eye pushed by a heavyweight in Cyril Gane, a strong heavyweight in Cyril Gane that primarily uses striking. So he's used to these kind of motion. You know, like I get it. And with all that heavyweight strength behind it, yeah, your eye probably is in the back of your skull right now. I understand, bro. But you need to step aside and vacate the title. And the UFC should be vacating it for you. If the injury is that bad, then yeah, you need to vacate the title and we need to see somebody get a shot, bro. Like we need to see that, bro, for real. And I guess Jon Jones, like, you know, I guess he's I don't know, I guess he's not the champ anymore or whatever, but um yeah, Jon Jones, where are you? You know? Alex Pereira, are you gonna go to heavyweight? What's going on? Or is John coming to light heavyweight? What's going on? We need to see something. So yeah. Heavyweight division needs to move on. Tom, I understand you gotta heal up, but gotta step aside. We need to see something. And we'll talk about that later too. But yeah. And then you know, that's just as far as what I see for the integrity of the sport. We need those fights to happen, and we need the heavyweight division to move on. But other than that, you know, you guys see Daniel Cormier and Jon Jones. They're like in Russia on some kind of like fighting reality show or something like that. They're going like team against team of MMA fighters, just like the Ultimate Fighter show, but just in Russia. And I understand that DC still has a problem with Jon Jones, and it's been made very clear that he does. So like my whole thing about like DC, I understand that DC is mad about Jon Jones using steroids in their fight. But the thing is, how long are you gonna keep this like animosity up over something like that? When on the flip side, you were ready to fight Brock Lesnar. Cormier was ready to fight Brock Lesnar and even pushed him in the ring. You know, we all saw him get mad and then, you know, them two face off, whatever. DC talking crap. But, you know for sure Brock Lesnar was juicing. You know for sure that Brock Lesnar was juicing and you were willing to fight him. So what's this about Jon Jones? Like I get it. The guy cheated against you. I get it. But you got to let it go, bro. Just let it go because it's not like like it's not like you care that much about steroids. Because if you did, then you would be bringing attention to what Khabib's got going on in his camp and you know what's going on around him. You know what I mean? Because we've all we've heard that Khabib's camp has had more fighters pop for steroids. I believe like two in the last 5 years. It's not good. The rumors about Khabib like cycling blood in hotel rooms before fights as like some form of PED, like crazy stuff, and I'm not saying that's true, but as far as fighters around Khabib testing positive for steroids, yes, that's true. So you're showing a blind eye to that. You showed a blind eye to Brock Lesnar being on steroids, but Jon Jones is like this is your arch nemesis because of the steroids. Like, come on, bro. Like, just let it go, bro. Just let it go. Like the fans already rock with you. You know, a lot of fans really don't rock with Jon Jones for multiple reasons, not just that. So you're better off just keeping with the higher ground. I think Jon Jones kind of brings DC down to a level where he feels like he has to get in the mud with Jon Jones, and he doesn't. It's just dumb, Just let it go, bro. Like for your own sake, and maybe for the sake of the fans, so we could maybe see another fight or something. I don't know, bro. That would be cool, but you know, depends how that goes. But either way, the last thing I'll mention before we get into the fights is the stuff you see on X, like with the beef with MMA Joey, Kenny Aoki, or Okoye, whatever, and MMA Guru. Like if you guys are on X and you're in the MMA community seeing this stuff, like you know what I'm talking about. There's like a beef between them and MMA Joey and Kenny Okoye are like liberal leaning, while MMA Guru's like I wouldn't even say he was conservative. He's just kind of a live wire and just talked a lot of crap about like Muslims and stuff. But all I could really say is that like MMA Joey and Kenny, like you guys coming together to join forces to talk about how racist the MMA fans are. Like go fuck yourself. Seriously. You guys suck. You guys have been there probably as long as MMA Guru has, but Guru's out there streaming with people. He's been the one like streaming every day, making connections, really making moves, while y'all two are just still on X talking crap, bro. Nobody rocks with y'all. And as far as MMA and fight fans, like they're just naturally like conservative leaning. Most MMA fighters, boxers, most combat sports athletes are conservative leaning by nature. So you guys trying to come at MMA Guru like you're the liberal saviors, like nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares. As far as the Muslim jokes, like I understand Guru might be doing too much, but like it's jokes. Like who gives a damn, bro? Like what is this? Like this is the fight game. You understand? Like you guys just look dumb. That's just the only thing I can really say. You guys just look dumb. You guys just look retarded. Uh, so yeah, MMA Guru's the man. If I gotta say it, you know, to make it concrete, then fuck it. MMA Guru is the man. He's a top streamer in this space, in the MMA space, and he's the one pushing the fanfare forward and bringing more fans to the sport. So all respect to Guru and MMA Joey, Kenny Aoki, get it together, please. All right, now that that's out the way, mind you, my webcam is still kind of like glitching too. I don't know if y'all see it. Maybe not. Maybe it's only on my screen. Either way, um, we're getting into the event. UFC 324, T-Mobile Arena, and yeah, first event for Paramount Plus. Already went over that. Already said that. Yada yada. Whoop de woo. Let's just get right into it because I'm only gonna cover 4 fights since the Kayla Harrison and Namajunas fight was called off. We're only gonna do Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Derrick Lewis. We're gonna cover Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva. We're gonna cover Song Yadong versus Sean O'Malley, and we're gonna cover um, Paddy versus Gaethje. Paddy versus Gaethje. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. Uh, And also, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but our boy Jose, uh, he's just not around for this one today. So we'll get him on the next one hopefully. But there's a little bit of miscommunication and like something going on. I think like the time slot doesn't work for him well. Either way, either way, I'll lead this charge right here, and I'll give y'all some solid picks. I could go make a parlay if you want, but once again, I'll just say it. I'm not supporting betting anymore. There's just too much weird, wacky stuff going on in the gambling space, so I don't I don't recommend it, but you can because I'm pretty confident about my picks here. I try to pick a small amount so that I could give it my all and give y'all the best solid picks as possible. And I like to enjoy the prelims. That's usually how I do. But we'll talk about Umar and Figgy real soon. We'll talk about that. But yeah, I don't recommend that y'all gamble, but these are my picks. So y'all do what y'all want, and I'm pretty confident in them. So boom. Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Derrick Lewis. Do I really gotta do I really gotta explain who Derrick Lewis is? I'm gonna show everybody I'm gonna show everybody just for the sake of it. Uh so let's get this right. Get this right. Boom boom. All right. Derrick Lewis. Y'all see it. Y'all see it. Hold on. Let me make my screen a little bit bigger for y'all to see. All right, Derrick Lewis. Y'all see it. 29-12. One no contest. The Black Beast. Everybody knows him. You know, one of the most popular fighters in the UFC ever. Derrick Lewis, the Black Beast, height 6'3", weight, fat ass, reach 79 inch. Sorry, I didn't mean to disrespect you. You my guy. I didn't mean to do that. I just thought it was funny. Um, you know, it's really weird because one thing I noticed about like just right off rip about Derrick Lewis, you'll notice that he's lost to the best of like all the guys that he's fought that were kind of special or kind of promoted by the UFC more. Uh, you can see that he's lost to them. You can see that he's lost to them. Like Jelton Almeida, like a prospect, people like uh strong prospect, I should say. Sergey Spivak, another like kind of stronger prospect. Pavlovich, someone that's kind of proven by now, just like, a pretty good contender. Tai Tuivasa, big guy, stylistic, fan favorite. Surreal Ghan, one of the best heavyweights that ever went to the UFC. Uh, Junior Dos Santos, one of the best heavyweights that was ever in the UFC. Daniel Cormier, arguably the best heavyweight that was ever in the UFC. Uh, a Mark Hunt, big fan favorite, big punch, big strong guy. Not sure who Sean Jordan is, but Matt Mitrione, another popular guy. And I don't mean to like make him look bad right off rip, but like that's kind of been the tale of Derrick Lewis's career. When he fights somebody that's a really good prospect or somebody that's really really talented and like sort of like a paragon of their kind, you could say someone that's just like outstanding or you get what I'm trying to say. Like the special guys he loses to. And there's guys like Taliesin Texeira where he beats in like 35 seconds. Or what's his name? Who was it that he knocked out? Volkov. When he knocked out Volkov with that sneak punch. Like yeah, like that was crafty. That was really crazy. Cause you could even see like uh it's funny that he beat Roy Nelson though. But yeah, like man, where is it? I just saw Volkov, boom. 121 strikes to 39. Like goddamn. And Derrick Lewis pulled that win off. Like that's pretty awesome. So yeah, pretty cool. But we all know how Derrick Lewis is coming, straight striking. He's not doing no takedowns. He's not playing with you. He's not playing. Sometimes will play with his food, but when he's ready to put you out, he's ready to put you out. He's one of them guys that could put you out at any second, any given second. But he's lost to the best of them. Waldo Cortez Acosta, Salsa Boy. former Cincinnati Reds player. I'm sorry, I'll never do that again. Former Cincinnati Reds player. So we're talking about a guy with an athletic background. You know, very good striker. Good ground control. He's pretty well rounded for what he is, but like the things that really stand out to everybody is like his strength and his iron chin. So he has a advantage in height by 1 inch, a disadvantage in reach by 1 inch. 6'4", 78 inch reach. But you could see like even when you look at strikes landed per minute, it's his is five and a half basically. Derrick Lewis's is 2.5. Yeah, Waldo Cortez is throwing more shots and he's throwing them. He's more motivated right now. You know, he has momentum and he had a great win against Elijah. And Gaziev too, but like uh, when he fought Elijah, that was a pretty damn good win. Um, he lost to Sergey Pavlovic, but even Sergey Pavlovic kind of like you could tell on his face that he respected what Waldo was bringing, what Waldo had brought that night, because it was a tough fight. It was a tough fight for both of them. But this is like Waldo. Here's the thing, like he's you could see like especially when he fought Robelis, what's his name? Let me try Robelis to Spain. When he fought Robelis to Spain, like you could see like 3-0 in takedowns. Like he was taking down Robelis nonstop. Like maybe not stop, but he kept taking him down. And Robelis is a big guy. Robelis is huge. So for Waldo to be able to do that really showed his strength. And and seeing him get hit in the like kicked in the face by Robelis, that was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy. Like he's very tough. He even took the eye poke against Ante Delija and ended up getting the KO. He beat Robelis in a unanimous decision, but either way, that was those were two fights that really showed his toughness and like how strong he was in different respects, but they both fights really showed how tough he really is. Um, and I'll come back to this. But yeah. So Waldo has an iron chin. He's an athletic guy. He's well rounded. He's a little more well rounded than Derrick Lewis, as you could probably tell from the stats. And this guy, man, this man Waldo, he's looking special. He's looking pretty special. Even in his loss against Pavlovich, he looked pretty special. Just because Pavlovich is a bigger guy and he was able to weather the storm a bit and make it the distance. But at the same time, we're talking about Derrick Lewis, who can knock out anybody at any given time, and even DC would give testament to how strong Derrick Lewis is. So he earned that name. He earned that name, Black Beast, for real. And it just it is what it is, man. Like Lewis is older. Yes, he did get a 35-second KO recently, but he's just a little older. And we got Waldo on the come up, and he's blazing through his competition. So I really do see Waldo being able to take this fight. He's probably gonna knock out Lewis in the second round because it's gonna be a bang out. They're gonna get to banging out. Waldo's gonna push the pace, and Derrick Lewis is gonna look for that strong shot, but he's not gonna get it. And even if he does, Waldo's gonna be able to eat it, and Waldo will be able to put his game on him. If he's smart, he'll take him down and just win the way he has to win. But they're probably gonna bang out. Got the Dominican dude versus the black dude. They're probably gonna have a real fight, like it's a barbershop. Let's be honest, right? And I think in this scenario, I think Waldo wins. Lewis is just a little too old, man, and just doesn't have as deep of a bag as Waldo. I think, even though that's kind of crazy to say, you would think he would, but nah, I don't think he's gonna have any surprises for Waldo other than how strong and tough he is. But Waldo's been there, and I think Waldo can take that. You know, and even seeing how Derrick Lewis lost to Tuivasa, that's how you say his name. Waldo has a similar style to Tuivasa, That's from what I see. As far as striking goes, he's a bit similar. Even in physique, he's got kind of the fatness on him, all that weight he's carrying. But Waldo looks a little bit stronger. You could tell he used to do another sport. But yeah, man, I see Waldo pulling it off. And like I said before, the heavyweight division needs to move on from Tom if he's really that injured right now. So I think if Waldo wins, to be honest, he should probably face Curtis Blades as like a last kind of test. Someone that's strong and younger, and then right before that, then they fight for a vacant title. We get Cyril Gane to come back. Since Cyril Gane takes like year, 2 year breaks anyways, he might as well wait, right? Get Waldo in there. Waldo, somebody with a name. Get him in there, and if he beats Curtis Blades, get him a title shot, and then see what happens. And I think Derrick Lewis should retire if he loses because he has nothing left to prove. Derrick Lewis has nothing to prove. You know what I mean? Has he ever had a belt? Yeah, I believe he did hold a belt at one time, but either way, uh, you don't you don't need to see more of Derrick Lewis just because he gave us so much already. Derrick Lewis has gave his life to this sport, and no matter what anybody wants to say, like he's out of shape or he's crass or a little bit disrespectful at times, and maybe he's one dimensional. You could say a lot, but with all of that stuff, all of that negative stuff, he took it very, very far. He took it farther than people that had more than him had. I said that wrong. Like, but you get what I'm saying. He went farther with less, and he deserves that respect. And he should retire. If it's a good fight, he could retire with dignity. If he gets knocked out, it's gonna be tough, but he should still retire anyway with dignity. This is gonna be a little bit harder if he gets like face planted, like he did against Tuivasa. But if Lewis wins, now we're talking about something like now you got to get a man his flowers by giving him a title shot, a vacant title shot. He does like Tom keep resting. Let Derrick Lewis have his time if he wins this. If he wins this, give him. The UFC should give him a shot straight up, and just let him retire on the top. Even if he loses, you lost in a title contending fight. Like you retired in a title contending fight, and you lost in a title contending fight. That's not that bad. That's not that bad. So yeah, that's what I think should happen. I definitely think that should happen. And Waldo, if he loses, then he should face like a guy like Jailton Almeida to fight for that prospect kind of title, and fight for like the who's up next kind of title, I should say. And yeah, yeah, yeah. Waldo's 16-2. He looks good. Even if he's 16-3, he could bounce back. But he might be a little older. He might want to get things going quicker for him as well. A little bit weathered from, playing baseball. So he probably wants to do something quick. Either way, that's how I think that should go. And yeah, let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next one. We got Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva. Now, we're gonna go share the screen again. We're going back to the stats. You know what's going on. Okay. We got Gene Silva, but let's talk about my boy Arnold Allen, yo. 20-3, 5'8", featherweight, reaches 70 inches, southpaw. Uh, Strikes landed per minute 3.45. Striking defense to 61, not bad. Takedown defense 75, not bad. You can see he's not doing a lot of takedowns. He's mostly throwing them hands, and that's why I love Arnold Allen. So I told Jose that Arnold Allen was one of my favorite fighters because he just goes for it. Regardless, he has a style and he sticks to it. He knows what he's good at, and he keeps going for it. And he gives guys. He's fought some of the best guys. Like he's really fought some of the best guys, like Giga Chikadze, Movsar. He lost to Movsar, but in a unanimous decision. 5-0 on takedowns, pretty damn bad. But either way, Arnold still edged him out in striking, which is what Arnold's known for. So yeah, not much of a ground guy, and not a guy that you could see really beating, you know, someone that has a good ground game. But it is what it is. Like he fought Max Holloway. That was a great fight as well. Really great fight. Max Holloway kind of put it on him, but Arnold Allen was like showing how much of a beast he was. He beats Calvin Kattar in a KO, right? He beats Dan Hooker. He beats Nick Lentz, Gilbert Melendez, uh, a bunch of dudes like Yusuf. He's got a decent like row of people that he's beaten and lost to, but they've all been great competition. It's all been really good competition, I should say. But Max Holloway probably being Max Holloway and Evloev being his biggest test, along with Cater and Hooker. But Arnold Allen, man, that's my guy. He's coming off a hiatus, and he's still one of my favorite fighters, man. I can't wait to see him fight for real. But we got Gene Silva. Gene Silva is someone that's a little bit more hated, and on paper, he looks to be the better fighter technically. You know what I mean? Uh, more strikes landed per minute. Uh, more strikes. What does that mean? Strikes absorbed per minute, I think, is less. Oh no, 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 it's a little more. But I'm looking at the strikes landed per minute. It's a lot more than Arnold Allen. And takedown accuracy, eh, takedown defense is better with accuracy. And yeah, this is another guy. Well, here's the thing. Gene Silva's a little bit more like you could see he has like, a submission win against Bryce Mitchell. That was like a really popular fight because of Bryce Mitchell being, who he is and talking the crap he was talking. Uh he lost to Diego Lopez. That was a crazy spinning elbow. We all remember that. Uh his fight against Drew Dober, he really impressed me. Both of them really impressed me. Drew Dober's a tough guy, and Gene Silva, he's a calculated guy. You could really tell he's calculated, and his footwork's not bad. I think his footwork's a little bit underrated. But yeah, Gene Silva, somebody that's a little more known. Well, no, they're both pretty known, but Gene Silva's just been, in the news cycle more times than Arnold, I think. But yeah, as far as these guys, man, like I think that, Arnold Allen just is proven a little bit more than Silva. I think he's had better opponents. And even though he's coming off a hiatus, I think his resume will shine through. His experience will shine through against Gene Silva. And, just seeing how Gene Silva lost to Diego Lopez, with the random elbow and, the eccentric, out there high volume striking. I think, Arnold Allen is similar to that in style. So I think Arnold Allen could really put it on him. And I think he could land something that'll hurt him. I know he could land something that'll hurt Gene Silva. And likewise, it goes both ways. And it is a little bit biased because Arnold Allen's my guy. I'll just be honest with you. But, he has a slight reach and height advantage here that will help a striker in this kind of situation. I don't see Gene Silva, really doing anything too crazy to him, to something that like we wouldn't expect. But he could really give. This is gonna be a pretty good fight, I think. And for me, this is like the harder kind of fight to pick, just because of the situations. If Arnold Allen was more consistent, then I would have way more confidence picking him. I'm picking him regardless. That's my pick for this fight. But, his hiatus, we'll have to really see how he is, coming from a break like that, fighting a guy like Gene Silva, who on paper is pretty damn good. You know what I mean? So I don't think Arnold will knock him out. I think Arnold will take him to a unanimous decision because he's used to that. He's done that with higher caliber opponents. And I think he could pull that off with Gene Silva, especially with a little bit of reach and height advantage here to help him. And I think he gets his W. And once Arnold, the man, gets this W, I think he should probably fight like Leron Murphy or something. I think that's like, them two should really fight it out for the next title shot. Because who did Leron Murphy beat? He beat like Aaron Pico, right? Like that's whatever. Like you beat a guy like Arnold in that same way, then we talking. But you know, and regardless, like I said before, Diego Lopez and Yair, they got to fight regardless. So we're not. Those guys are all very close in rankings, but no matter what happens, we got to see Lopez and Rodriguez fight. I'm advocating for it, and that's what I want to see. So, if Silva loses, he should probably fight Patricio Pitbull because that's kind of how I see him. Like Patricio Pitbull had a very similar uprising as Gene Silva, somebody that was well noted, somebody that was strong and was very game. So I'd like to see them fight to see where they stand in this division. But also, if Arnold loses, which I hope doesn't happen, maybe he just like fights Ortega or something. Like a fight to see where they both stand. Since Arnold's been away for a little while and lost to some good guys like Evloev and Max Holloway and Ortega. That'll be a nice fight for people to see. I think so. I think Arnold would whoop his ass, but yeah, I think it would justify him being in the top 10 still if he loses. And if Silva wins, then I think we should see him against Aljamain. I think Aljamain would be a good match for him. As far as rankings and style and stuff and name notability. Definitely, definitely don't want to see Aljamain fight Evloev again. At least not anytime soon. Evloev deserves a shot against Volkanovski. He deserves that shot. And if I didn't say that before, then I apologize. But he deserves that shot against Volkanovski. So yeah. So yeah, I want to see that. So yeah, and I think Arnold Allen's gonna win. It's gonna be a unanimous decision win. So yeah, put that on your parlay. Next one. Next one. Song Yadong versus Sean O'Malley. The Chinaman versus the Funky Man. I'm sorry, that was a little corny, but kind of accurate, right? So we'll go back to the stats again. We'll go back to the stats. Uh, boom. Song Yadong. 5'8", 67-inch reach, 22, 8, and 1. A lot of strikes landed per minute. But at this weight class, it's more common to see that. Takedown averages zero point 0.6. Doesn't go for a lot of subs, but takedown defense is pretty good. And not bad. Not bad as far as career statistics, but he recently just beat Henry Cejudo, which really doesn't tell you anything in general. Not just for the Sean O'Malley fight, but beating Henry Cejudo. What does that even mean anymore? Like for real. Cejudo beat no Cejudo lost to Peyton Talbot, right? So like what are we talking about? You know what I mean? For real. Uh so I just wanted to move this. I think y'all can see me here. Oh, sorry, give me a second, y'all. Boom. Okay. And Song Yadong, he lost to Petr Yan. I'll be honest, I really didn't even get around to seeing that one in particular, but I've seen him fight Ricky Simone. I was not impressed. I was not impressed when he fought Ricky Simone. But and it's just Song Yadong. He's just one of those guys that he deserves his ranking. He's a very good fighter. He's pretty well rounded. He's strong. You can tell he's strong, and he knows a little bit on his feet. He's not a bad striker, but you could tell he's not much. He's not well versed in striking as much as Sean O'Malley is, and I think it's a little bit easier to compare this one. I think this is going to be the easiest pick of the night. I think Sean O'Malley washes this dude, and I respect Song Yadong, but when we look at Sean O'Malley, it's more strikes landed per minute. Oh, I disappeared. But god damn, I disappeared again. But strikes landed per minute. You got 6.30. Forget it. We're just gonna disappear. Uh, but yeah, we got strikes landed per minute 6.30. Strike accuracy 61%. TD accuracy 42%. TD defense 61%. Um, he's 5'11". He's got a height advantage. He has a great reach advantage. I believe a great, yeah, like 5 inches in reach, 3 inches in height. Uh, We're talking about Sean O'Malley, man, the guy that this the funky man, whatever his damn nickname is. What is it? Sugar. Oh, but isn't he like? Oh no, I'm thinking of Aljamain. Never mind. Sugar. Okay, so Sugar has lost to Merab twice, pretty damn convincingly both times. He beat Marlon Vera, and I see Marlon Vera as like someone that's like akin to uh a Song Yadong in the sense that like they have very low work rate. Like I just don't I'm not impressed with Song Yadong's output, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would have to say yeah, that's someone you could compare him to. Um he beat Aljamain very quickly. He beat Aljamain pretty damn quickly. He beat Petr Yan technically, but even though Petr Yan got him 6-0 in takedowns, like how does somebody win? Yeah, I don't know, bro. Like, but we all saw that fight. We all know what we saw. Pedro Munoz, that no contest. I didn't know that was a no contest. Didn't he whoop Pedro Munoz? No, I'm thinking of Chris Matuni. Oh yeah, he whooped Chris Matuno's ass. And I think Chris Matuno has like a similar kind of knowledge and striking as Song Yadong would, to be honest. I don't know if that's disrespectful to say, but that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? And on some real, like I think Sean O'Malley whoops his ass. I think he whoops Song Yadong's ass. Like Song is strong, and he's game anywhere that it goes. But like his fight with Corey really showed me what he was what he was capable of. When Song fought Corey and Corey was just like beating him, that really showed me like how he would do against Sean O'Malley, because Sean O'Malley's going to do the same thing, keep striking him, keep it active, keep it going, and keep something in his face the whole night. And Song Yadong is going to get staggered, stifled, I should say. It's going to affect his work rate. He's not going to throw as many punches, and he's going to get and when you let Sean do that to you, Sean is going to do it to you. Sean is going to outwork you and outstyle you, and it will be bad. So I think Song Yadong has a very long night coming for him until it becomes short. But I mean, I could see Sean O'Malley like, yeah, I think Sean O'Malley could get a flash knockout. I think he can get a flash knockout and or a flash knockdown that would lead to ground and pound, which will, kind of similar to how Aljamain lost, but I just don't see a path where Song Yadong wins. He has short arms and he's just not gonna be able to like he's not exactly boxing with God here, but you know, you're boxing with Sean O'Malley. He's a very good striker. You're not going to beat him with them short arms and your low striking IQ, I should say. It's not completely low. You can see Song Yadong, he dips, he knows like basics of, getting out the way and then boom, 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 like, the barrages and, keeping, how do I say? Like keeping his confidence and, going for it when he sees it, but he's not going to see it against Sean O'Malley. He's not going to get those openings, and he's going to get outworked, and it's going to be pretty bad. And I'm sorry, Song, but I just don't see you winning this fight. I see you probably getting KO'd in maybe the second round. Maybe you survive a round, I think. I'll give you that, but maybe the second round. Or you probably first round, bro. You probably do get knocked out first round. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. And plus, UFC, like Sean O'Malley is UFC's boy, so they're gonna look out for him. He has Dana White privilege, as Tony would say. So yeah, sorry, Song. They're kind of against you, and Sean is way better at striking. So I think he beats you. Probably first round knockout. If not, then second round knockout. And like I said before, whether Sean wins or loses, he has to fight Cory Sandhagen. We want to see that fight. I don't care what happens, whether he wins or loses. We want to see that fight. I'm sticking to it. Do it for the fans. You owe it. You got 2 title shots against Merab. No, no, no. You were a champion against Merab the first time. Then you gave no, Merab gave you a rematch, and you lost again. So boom, we don't want to see that. Sorry. And if you lose if you beat Song Yadong but it's not convincing or it's not like very good, then you owe the fans a good fight. So yeah, we need to see you fight Corey. And if Song Yadong loses, like like in this case, I would say, regardless, like, we got Figgy and Umar fighting, which I think Umar, just straight up, I think Umar beats Figgy. I just think he has the better counsel and, the better ground regimen, acumen, I guess you would say, and he's pretty good at striking to keep up with Figgy, and I think he'll put a lot of pressure on Figgy. Uh, but yeah, I think Song should face the loser of that fight. And then if Song wins, then he should face the winner of that fight. And then, all of this will happen while, yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. But because I'm just thinking of how this would go. Because right now it's like we got to see Merab and Yan fight. We have to see Merab and Yan fight. So it gets tricky. We got to see that fight. And I really want to see. I really do think O'Malley should fight Sandhagen. So if Song wins, then he maybe fights the winner of Umar and Figgy, and then whoever wins that gets the title shot. I guess so. It took me a little second to really figure that out, but yeah, I think that's how it goes. But it's a very good division right now, and I think Sean O'Malley could bounce right back, and I think Song Yadong just doesn't have. He's not quite ready for it. He's not quite ready for the Sean O'Malley experience. So that's what I got going on for that one. Sean wins in that one. So boom. So far, I got Waldo Cortez, right? What did I say? What did I say? Round two, right? KO round two. I got Arnold Allen, Gene Silva going unanimous decision, with Arnold winning. So Waldo gets a round two KO. Arnold gets a unanimous decision win. And I think Sean O'Malley gets a first round knockout. Maybe second round, but I think he really comes back and puts it on Song to prove a point. And now we're going to cover the main fight. Sheesh, what's wrong with me? Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje. Man, like I don't care what nobody says. It's a fun fight. It's a fun fight, bro. Like we like to see these fights, bro. Um, to me, this is like fanfare. This is fanfare, and I think it's a perfect fight for Paddy to keep proving himself on a big stage against legit guys. So boom, we'll go right back to this. Oh, and it's full screen again. Cool. All right, bow, bow. Okay, boom. We're gonna start with Paddy. Paddy the baddie, the scouser. You know what I mean? 5'10", 155 pounds, very big for the weight class. That's one thing that's like gonna be the standout thing. Very big for the weight class. Cuts a lot of weight. 73-inch reach. A lot of strikes landed per minute. Um, not much of a not much of a wrestler, but he is a jujitsu practitioner. He will go for subs. He's very exciting on the feet and on the ground. He hasn't really beaten the murderer's row of people, you could say, but Tony, yeah, that was pretty much gave him a win, gave him a good win. You know, UFC set that up for him perfectly, right? Uh, Jared Gordon was a decent fighter. Jared Gordon's not a bad fighter, bro. So that's a good win, and I think that was a perfect fight for it to happen at that time. Um, they're very similar. Like where they were in their careers at that time was very similar because Jared Gordon had some hype. Uh, he just beat Michael Chandler. Before that, he beat Bobby. He whooped Bobby Green's ass. I'm not gonna lie, he whooped Bobby Green. Um, and yeah, he whooped Chandler's ass too, bro, on some real shit. But Chandler was at least more of a vet that was able to stick around a little longer, and in the fight, I mean, and yeah, Paddy put his ass out, yo. So yeah, that was a hell of a win. Very, very important win for Paddy. Because even Dustin Poirier was doubting Paddy for that Michael Chandler fight. So yeah, Paddy's been proving it. No matter what you want to say, he's been proving it, man. Justin Gaethje though, and this is a comparator heights. Justin Gaethje's 5'11", a little bit taller. Justin Gaethje has 70-inch reach, so Paddy has the advantage in reach by 3 inches, and Justin Gaethje has a 1 inch height advantage, if that means anything. Um, so now when you look at their strikes landed per minute, yeah, like Justin Gaethje throws more strikes. He's not going for takedowns. You can see that. It looks like he's never went for a sub, but Like it's crazy. His striking, that's basically what his career's been. But he's the type that could pin you against the cage real quick too if he needs to. So Justin Gaethje, hell of a striker, hell of a vet, hell of a fighter. He beat Fiziev in a pretty good fight. Uh, we all remember the Holloway loss. That created like a meme and something like a corner. It's like that was important for the sport. I'm not gonna lie. Justin Gaethje took a dumb deal, but it ended up being good for the sport when he lost to Max Holloway. This Max Holloway really like stepped it up and really showed us what he was playing with. So yeah, man, hell of a fight. Uh, then the Dustin Poirier fights that was tough. You know, because didn't he fight him twice? Hold on. Yeah, he fought. Yep, he lost to him the first time. Then he beat Dustin Poirier in the rematch by a head kick, I think. And yeah, beats Fiziev twice. Lost to Oliveira, which was one of my favorite Charles Oliveira performances. Um, he he had a tough fight against Michael Chandler, and Paddy's right. Paddy is right to mention that Justin Gaethje went life and death with Michael Chandler. But honestly, still a decent win. You know what I mean? Especially for 2021 at that time, Michael Chandler being in the UFC at that time, not a bad win. Not a bad win. But this is what we got going on, y'all. Like, and honestly, I know, I know that I said Arnold Allen, his experience would shine through against Gene Silva, but I'm not gonna give Justin Gaethje this advantage here, only because Paddy's a really big guy for that weight class. He cuts a lot of weight for that weight class. He's strong, he's fast, very knowledgeable with the jiu-jitsu. He could take it to the ground and have way more success. Like Justin Gaethje will be drowning against Paddy on the ground when it comes to jiu-jitsu. And I see Paddy similar to Charles Oliveira, a striker, a decent striker that has really good jiu-jitsu, and that was the perfect storm for Justin Gaethje to lose against. So if Oliveira could pull it off against Gaethje, I think that this man will pull it off against Gaethje. I think this fight and the O'Malley fight are like the easiest picks because I think Paddy, it's just his time, bro. It's his time. It's the Scouser time, man. Gaethje's 37 years old. He's war torn. He's been around for a while. He was just talking about like retiring if he didn't get a title shot. Like Paddy has the momentum and Gaethje does not. And that's just kind of how I feel about that, you know what I mean? But and with Gaethje losing to Oliveira, that doesn't look too good, for him against Paddy because Paddy's a little bit stronger than Oliveira, I believe, and probably just as skilled in jiu-jitsu. Probably just as skilled. And I think Paddy could pull off a submission just like Oliveira did. So I got Paddy winning this one by submission, legitimately. And I think Gaethje should retire if he loses this one because Justin Gaethje gave us everything. He's like Derrick Lewis. These guys gave us everything, yo. These guys gave us everything, and they have nothing left to prove. And Paddy's gonna go up. Paddy's got a longer career ahead of him. Or Justin Gaethje, he's 37, bro, and he's taking a lot of damage. 37 is not too old, but for a fighter like Gaethje, the way he fights, yeah, it's kind of old. It's because of the way you fight, man. You put a lot of fight miles on you, a lot of strikes taken to the head, a lot of strikes given. Fought some of the very best in the world. I'd like to see him retire, man, and that's not a bad way to retire against Paddy. Paddy just will keep proving it, you know what I mean? And yo, if here's the thing, if Gaethje beats Paddy, then he should get the title shot he wanted so badly, right? You know what I mean? Like you could have had it against Makhachev or whatever, but you wanted to fight Dustin Poirier, then saw what happened. And yeah, that was kind of his fault. Well, no, when he beat Poirier, but what happened against Holloway? That's what I mean. When he lost against Holloway, we saw what happened. He lost to a 145er with power, and that's a good striker. And Paddy's strong with good striking. and bigger than Holloway. So we'll see how that goes, man. He has a reach advantage on top of that. So, but yeah, if Gaethje wins, give him a title shot at Topuria. And I feel bad saying that because I know Arman deserves it more. But yo, just give Gaethje. He sacrificed for the UFC against the Holloway fight. So throw him a bone back. Give him his title shot, bro. And if he loses that, then Gaethje should retire. You know what I mean? But yeah, if he wins, give him a title shot, bro. I'm with it. I'm with it, and I think it'd be cool. It would be cool to see Gaethje win. I rock with Paddy. I rock with Paddy, but it would be pretty surreal to see Justin Gaethje beat him. You know what I mean? To prove the doubters wrong. But yeah, if that happens, that should be the case. And if Paddy loses, give him Charles Oliveira. We want to see that. One has to cancel out the other because I'm fans of both. Ooh, sorry for the burp. I'm fans of both. So if he loses, I'd like to see that. If he can't, because he's obviously not gonna be in title shot contention. So yeah, might as well give us, a fun fight, some fanfare, and Paramount can use some fanfare. You know, this fight is fanfare. Paddy versus Gaethje is fanfare, so that's pretty cool, man. But yeah, man, that's my picks. Once again, Waldo Cortez, round two KO. Uh, Arnold Allen, unanimous decision win. I got Sean O'Malley, round one or round two knockout win. And fourth fight, Paddy and Gaethje, the main event. I got Paddy winning by submission. I can't really pick around, but I think he's gonna win by submission. So boom. Those are my four picks for UFC 324 for the main event fights. We didn't cover Kayla Harrison because I got canceled. And Umar and Figgy, that one's a tough fight, but I gave you my quick pick on that one. I do think Umar can out wrestle him and really push the pace on him and have him in compromising positions and use the striking ability that he has to win. You know. So yeah, it's what I think is gonna happen. And I already told, everybody that works with Productive Conversations podcast, if I get a single fight wrong, y'all can slap me. The offer still stands. Coupon does not expire. Valid at any time. So yeah, we're gonna rock with that for UFC 324. And go put your parlay in if you want to. And if you don't want to, probably better for you because it's really wacky gambling in the UFC right now. So yeah, man. It's gonna be a good event. It's gonna be a good way to kick off Paramount Plus. I think so. I mean, it's not a bad card. It's not the worst, but there's potential for good moments here. So let's get it. So yeah, UFC 324. Tune in. I'm gonna tune in myself, and yeah, what can I say? This is it. This is it, man. No more pay per view. No more pay per view, man. Cheaper fights for us. Better events. Broader, brighter horizons. Broader and brighter, and yeah, and bigger. Broader, brighter, and bigger horizons for the UFC and for Productive Conversations podcast as a platform. So, you know, like I said, go follow, go share, go like, subscribe, comment. If you disagree, if you agree, let us know in the short clips or in this video right here. Or you can go to my YouTube channel, Dolo Ren. I'm on Instagram and TikTok and X as well. You could comment, leave a comment saying you disagree or something. I don't know. But I got other videos if y'all want to see them on my Dolo Ren channel. And yeah, this was our coverage for UFC 324. And I'm signing off. It's your boy Dolo Ren. I'm gonna catch y'all next time. Peace.